We are here today at our weekly Friday evening vigil to tell Anthony Albanese that he must use the power vested in him as Prime Minister of Australia to make the British government end its illegal imprisonment of Julian Assange and allow him to come back to Australia to be with his wife Stella and their 2 children. Multiple awards, including the Walkley Award, Julian Assange, who is guilty of no crime, is now languishing in London's Belmarsh Prison in solitary confinement. The court which imprisoned Assange has also ordered that he be extradited to the United States, not to face trial before the United States Supreme Court, which has ruled in favour of the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, which guarantees freedom of speech, but to a kangaroo court, otherwise known as a grand jury in the Eastern District of Columbia. This court is close to Washington and the headquarters of the United States departments, government departments, military and spy agencies, including the CIA and the NSA. Past experience has shown that jurors who are almost exclusively comprised of employees of the CIA, the NSA and other spy agencies and their spouses nearly always convict the accused. In Julian's case, he is likely to be convicted and imprisoned for the rest of his life to live in solitary confinement in conditions that are even worse than what he is now enduring in Belmarsh Prison. Minister Anthony Albanese can see any of this as valid legal process in another country is beyond me. In 2020, Assange was tried by corrupt judges who were under orders from the British government. In those hearings, which resulted in his imprisonment, Julian Assange was given little opportunity to speak in his own defence and was denied the right to cross-examine his accusers, including Thorson, who has been convicted in Iceland of sexually abusing minors and financial fraud, has admitted that he lied when he claimed in court that Julian Assange had asked him to hack computers to access the phone records of members of governments. Fraudulent evidence was used to put Julian Assange behind bars. In Parliament on 30th of November last year, in response to a question from the independent Member of Parliament, Monique Ryan, even though the amount of time allowed in each question time is limited to only 2 minutes, as Albanese's response to Ryan was quite verbose, far more verbose than he usually is. He has very little to say about Julian Assange. It was verbose, presumably because Assange wanted to deny Ryan time to respond to all the nonsense he said in question time. The claim that he subsequently made at the Woodford Folk Festival, the claim that he made was that the government does not have the power to intervene in the legal processes of another country. The reason he admitted that was he knows very well that what the UK government is doing to Julian Assange is illegal. He knows very well that he rang up Rishi Sunak today and told Rishi Sunak that you are illegally holding an Australian citizen and you must release him now. He knows if he said that to Rishi Sunak, Julian Assange would be free today. When freedom of information search revealed, contrary to what Albanese has been saying,
to free Julian.
That the Australian government has made no contact with the American government with a view to freeing Assange. Neither Prime Minister Albanese has contacted Joe Biden, nor has the Attorney General Mark Dreyfus contacted his counterpart in the United States. They have been lying to the public. When Monique Ryan heard of this, heard that the Albanese government had made no representations to the American government, she seemed furious. She vowed to ask Albanese at the Parliament, which is sitting now, why the discrepancy between his claim that he was trying to free Julian Assange and the fact that he's done nothing. I was looking forward to seeing how Albanese would respond. Unfortunately, this hasn't happened this week. Let us hope that next week Monique Ryan will put that question. So far in this 4-week sitting of Parliament, Assange has not even been mentioned once in the House of Representatives. His name was only mentioned twice in the Senate. And this is in spite of the fact there are 40 members of the Bring Julian Assange Home Parliamentary group. I would hope, I would expect that even given all the crookedness and the rules of Parliament, that members of the Bring Julian Assange Home Support Group would find ways to make their presence a little bit better known in the Australian Parliament. I have been in contact with members of the Bring Julian Assange Home Parliamentary Support Group. I have urged them, could you please try once more to put to Parliament Andrew Wilkie's motion of December 2021 telling Prime Minister Albanese to make the British government end its illegal imprisonment of Julian Assange. Putting a motion to Parliament does not mean that Albanese is obliged to do what the motion says. All it means is that he is obliged to debate with those who think he should act. He is obliged to tell members of Parliament and the Australian public why he believes he should not act, why he believes that he can't do anything to help Julian Assange, or why he believes that Julian Assange deserves the treatment he has. Clearly, Albanese is not prepared to put his case. He knows he doesn't have a case to answer. He knows that the imprisonment of Julian Assange is illegal, it is criminal. He knows that if it was argued properly on the floor of Parliament, the whole of Australia and the whole world would know that his case for doing nothing for Julian Assange is a lie. And he would be held to account by the Australian public and much of the rest of the world for his collusion with the American and British governments against Julian Assange. Parliament is meeting again for 4 days from next week, Monday to Thursday. I think we should be on to our members of Parliament. We must be on to members of the Bring Julian Assange Home Parliamentary Group and tell them that we really want them to raise their voice a little bit higher for Julian Assange. Ask them one more time to try to put to Parliament calling on Albanese to act to free Julian Assange. Even if the procedural motion is lost, they could call for a division. They could ask which members of Parliament want to hear the case for Julian Assange, why he should be brought home, and which members of Parliament want to shut us up, which members of Parliament want to deny us the right to free speech on the floors of Parliament. This has happened before, but this time we would know which members of Parliament want to prevent free speech in Parliament, which members of Parliament don't want to free Julian Assange, and which members of Parliament want to shut up anyone who disagrees with them. We must get on to our members of Parliament, we must get on to members of the Bring Julian Assange Home Parliamentary Support Group and tell them one day in the next 4 weeks of Parliament, in both the Senate and in the House of Representatives, they must make an effort to put to Parliament the motion calling for the freedom of Julian Assange and let Parliament debate and let the Parliament deal with the consequences. If Parliament doesn't let the debate happen, then the rest of the world will see the Australian Parliament for what it is. What it is up till now has been a joke, a sham of a Parliament. They won't debate the imprisonment of Australia's most famous prisoner. They want to shut up those people inside Parliament that want to speak up for them. What kind of a Parliament is that? That is what the rest of the world will see.